Long-standing tensions between King Charles and Prince Harry have once again come to the forefront, reignited by recent revelations and calculated decisions at Buckingham Palace. Since Harry and Meghan Markle stepped back from their senior roles in the royal family in 2020, widely known as Megxit, the rift has deepened, shaped by a complex mix of personal grievances, institutional traditions, and media frenzy. In January 2020, Harry and Meghan's decision to step back from their royal duties shocked the world. Choosing a quieter life in California, they traded the palace walls for the openness of the American media. However, this physical move was only the tip of the iceberg of deeper changes in their self-identity. Their subsequent media appearances, notably Oprah Winfrey's interview and Harry's memoir Spare, intensified tensions and deepened the rift between them and the royal family. The monarchy, rooted in centuries-old traditions, found itself under threat due to Harry and Meghan's public statements. Despite renouncing their roles, the couple retained their titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex, a paradox that symbolized their continuing connection to the institution they sought to leave. Following the death of Queen Elizabeth II in 2022, King Charles faced the daunting task of preserving the unity of the royal family while overcoming personal turmoil. However, his strategy was not reactive, but carefully calculated. Palace insiders suggest that Charles deliberately avoided stripping Harry and Meghan of their titles, fearing a public backlash that could portray him as a vengeful father, punishing his own son. Instead, Charles chose the path of silence, allowing time and distance to quietly redraw the boundaries. This non-confrontational approach was designed to protect the image of the monarchy, avoiding further public drama and maintaining control. Harry's vision of a hybrid role, serving the crown while pursuing independent projects, was incompatible with royal tradition. The monarchy operates on absolutes. You're either a working member of the royal family or you're not. Charles, influenced by Queen Elizabeth's strict discipline, adhered to these clear boundaries, refusing to compromise in ways that could blur institutional expectations. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan embraced freedom and transparency in their relationship with the media, which was a cultural clash with the monarchy's preference for restraint. Their public interviews and projects were seen by some as a bold acknowledgement of the truth, and by others as a devastating betrayal of family privacy. By 2023, Harry's memoirs revealed deep personal pain, describing years when he felt unwanted in his own family. His criticism of his father and brother resonated with many, while alienating loyal monarchists. Meghan's role also became a source of controversy. Her modern approach to public life, emotional openness, and perceived conflicts with palace traditions made her a target for intense media scrutiny. For King Charles, Meghan became a symbol of unpredictable power. Her independence and public profile threatened the controlled narrative of the monarchy. The tension spread to Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet, whose limited contact with the royal family highlighted the growing emotional and physical distance. The final hours of Queen Elizabeth II at Balmoral in 2022 were a turning point. Although Harry and Meghan were in the UK, Charles asked Meghan not to accompany Harry to Balmoral. Officially, this was presented as a practical decision, but in reality, the exclusion reflected deeper undercurrents of rejection. Harry's solo trip to Balmoral, where he arrived after the Queen's death, became a painful metaphor for his fading place in the royal family. Meghan's dignified silence after the incident spoke volumes, and her absence signaled her effective estrangement from the royal family. King Charles's leadership has brought about a new dynamic. Unlike his mother's unifying approach, Charles has demonstrated a willingness to make tough decisions to protect the future of the monarchy, even at the cost of personal relationships. Meghan's exclusion from Balmoral was a quiet but decisive shift, illustrating the monarchy's adaptation to new challenges by reinforcing old boundaries. Inside the palace, Meghan's candor was seen as incompatible with royal protocol. Her actions, whether justified or exaggerated by the media, were perceived as undermining an institution built on a carefully controlled public image. As discussions about King Charles's health and future intensified, a particularly personal and controversial decision was made. Insiders confirmed that Meghan would be officially excluded from the state funeral of King Charles. This was not a casual suggestion, but a clear instruction included in official documents. The reason was simple but profound: to keep the focus on the king's legacy and prevent potential distractions from the media. Palace advisors feared that Meghan's presence would overshadow the solemnity of the event, reigniting controversy and distracting attention from the desired image of the monarchy as united and traditional. Harry's participation was never in question. Despite his criticism and renunciation of royal duties, his birthright guaranteed him a place at such state events. Meghan, who has no official royal role and is increasingly seen as an outsider, was perceived differently. For Harry, this decision struck a deep emotional chord. Torn between loyalty to his wife and his remaining ties to his family, the prospect of attending his father's funeral without Meghan reflected the isolation he felt at Balmoral. Regardless of whether he decides to attend or refrain, his decision will be closely scrutinized, adding another chapter to the saga of royal estrangement. Harry's position reflects the painful clash between personal loyalty and royal duty. His desire for reconciliation is at odds with the reality of preserving an institution where personal grievances take a back seat to public image. This growing rift reflects broader questions about the future of the monarchy. In an era where public opinion is shaped by social media and transparency, the royal family's commitment to tradition faces unprecedented challenges. Meghan's candor, while controversial, symbolizes a cultural shift toward openness that the monarchy is struggling to navigate. King Charles's approach, though some consider it cold, is based on a desire to protect the monarchy from further destabilization. His measured silence and firm decisions underscore the priority of the institution: survival above all else. Every exclusion, every silence reinforces the unspoken message. The monarchy is willing to sacrifice family ties to preserve its image. For Harry and Meghan, this reality reinforces their position on the periphery, where they are welcomed in words but not accepted in reality. Meghan's exclusion from King Charles's funeral, while deeply personal, serves as a public statement about boundaries. It reflects a restructuring of the monarchy's internal structure, which values control and tradition over reconciliation. The dynamics between King Charles, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle are not simply a family feud. They reflect intergenerational, cultural, and institutional tensions. The personal pain is undeniable, but it is intertwined with the broader struggle of the monarchy to maintain its relevance and respect in a changing world. For the public, this saga continues to unfold in real time, with every new twist and turn carefully analyzed and discussed. Moments of personal grief and reconciliation become a spectacle that attracts public attention, exaggerating every minor action and gesture. The ongoing feud between King Charles and Prince Harry is symbolic of a deeper, perhaps irreparable rift within the royal family. Charles's decisive actions, especially toward Meghan, underscore that the monarchy is choosing stability over personal reconciliation. Caught between two worlds, Harry is confronted with the painful reality of that choice. Meghan's exclusion from future royal events, especially the king's funeral, will symbolically end any illusions of unity. This means that the monarchy, which publicly displays nobility and tradition, is internally struggling with the consequences of its own inflexibility. Ultimately, this is not just a story of conflict between a father and son. It is the story of an institution that has come up against its limitations in an era of rapid change, when control is no longer guaranteed and silence no longer ensures respect. Whether reconciliation is possible remains unclear, but what is clear is that the decisions made now will determine the legacy of King Charles's reign and the future of the monarchy itself.